Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakorashi. I'll say it again, all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakorash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS with you were. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ayna. The title of the video is AI, or the title is Putin sets deadline for full AI integration. All right, and let's take it from this video here. And mostly, right, you already know what it is, the M.O.T.B, the whole system, right? These Amalekites that run the world going up to the Rothschilds, right? The bank elites are setting up their system all around the world, even as chaos, war is unfolding. It goes into Matthew 13 and 16. All right. This is Revelations 13:11. Now beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right, these two horns represents the different sides. All right, because these devils have used America, right, as their hub to push out their views and their power. Because America has been the hammer of the whole earth, right? It subdued all nations under it, pretty much. All right, everyone looked for America to see how they should govern themselves, right? And that was basically like the setup of the first type of world order, if you want to say, because they're trying to do a new world order, right? Where America seems to, it don't matter what America got going on, because China is way far ahead of America when it comes to things like AI integration and things like that. America is pretty much behind. But really and truly, the only important thing about it, about this AI, is the chip, right? Which goes to the M.O.T.B, right? The mark of the beast. I'm gonna add that in the title too. All right, the M.O.T.B, they have it already. They're just waiting for the right time to make it mandatory. Basically. All right, everything else that they're doing is just um, a waste of time, basically. All right, because they not going, which I'm gonna do a separate videos on this, Lord willing, sometime. But what they're doing right now is wasting their time. They're not gonna achieve much of anything. The only thing they're gonna achieve is what the Most High want, and that's the testing of bringing the chip in and saying, take this, or you're basically gonna be cut off from the side and die. Right, and that's what the Most High wants to bring to the earth as a test. So what they're doing behind the scenes, is trying to do data centers and AI and all of that, Palantir and all that. None of that matters, right? But anyway, Psalms 2:1, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, right? So what all this extra stuff they're doing is just vain. Anyway, let me go over here to back to the two horns, represents your Democratic Party and your Republican Party, right? They use these two different parties to sway the Americans to the left side to the right side to make them believe that they actually had a choice, or they had options. But really, it says, and he spake as a dragon, because there's only one way. It's going to come down with different laws, draconian measures to push his agenda. And that agenda is the 2030 agenda that the whole world is talking about, right? Which it ushers in a new world order, right? Where things are governed by AI. AI controls everything. And who controls that? The banking elite. Somehow, some way, they get in there and mess with the wires, just like we see all the time, the internet and things like that. They buy out the people that actually owns these different things. That's why they say, I care not. Basically, give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws, right? So they own all the money. They own the banks. They own the whole world. So they gonna control it, right? It says, and he, Revelations 13:12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly one will say, which is Roman Empire. America's Roman Empire coming back. All right, it's the revised Roman Empire. Right, he do a great wonder, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Who did that? Who dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Right, America did that, and that's how the whole earth was still before him. Pretty much, nobody want to make war with America. With the chance of them dropping a big ass bomb on them, right? But now everybody got big ass bombs, right? says, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. This is your new world order. All right, and the whole world is going for this image. They're going for the system because they control it. Right, these Rothschilds, right, the Amalekites. Says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the sword which had the wound by a sword and they lived, which is the Roman Empire. So we know through the Spirit and these words right here written in the Bible that this is the Roman Empire coming back. All right. And it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And then we can see that unfolding, the whole world even down. You're like, God damn. Everybody fighting each other, they continue divided, but behind the scenes, you know, these technocrats and things like that, these suit and tie guys, they trying to separate themselves from what's actually happening, so they're able to say, I have nothing to do with that. I'm just pushing, you know, whatever agenda they're pushing on the people. You know, so it's real interesting, but it's all coming to an end, basically. So he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. See, so you gonna get in with society? You're gonna be like a third world country and start dying, right? Even with trade is heavy, you know, around the world. People need their oil, right? Hey, and they're trading oil right now with cryptocurrency, which I didn't look into it, but I don't know if it's back. And you know, when you sell Bitcoin and you get the actual funds from it, isn't it just American dollar? You know, or is it the other currencies, which I'll look into it. But anyway, they're trading in cryptocurrency. So that's where the system is going. So for these different people around the world that need resources to survive, you're gonna have to be in the system to get the things you need. You got Russia, which you got to go into China, America, you know, hey, Iran is a superpower. India, right? These different places, the EU and things like that. They're all going to go to the system. That's going to cause everyone else to go to the system. All right. So that's how you be killed. Ultimately, you usually cut off. You can't get your bread, you can't get your food, you can't get the things you need. Like, for example, you know, certain things like Taiwan make chips, right? If Taiwan start making chips, or if Taiwan started selling chips with rocks, you're gonna need rocks. You know, you're gonna need rocks to buy the chip, if you get what I'm saying. So in this system to come, you're gonna need the digital system to get what you need. It says, and he causeth all, both small and very rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. This is a digital device that's going to be put into your skin if you set this microchip, right? And that no man might buy or sell, so he that had the mark of the name or the name of the beast, or the name of his name, right? And we read it again. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the name of his name, right? Which all goes to this microchip, which is a digital chip, right? And that's going to be pushed around the whole world. You're going to need this thing around the whole world, all right? To buy and sell, you know, trade too for these other nations and things. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, and his number is 6, and for it is the number of a man, and his number is 606, which goes into 666. All right, and this devil, everywhere they go, they throw up the sixes, you know, this and all of that. You see it in the cartoon movie and things like that. Because what's happening is a spiritual thing, right? You get Ephesians 4, what is it? Ephesians 6. And 12, Ephesians 6 and 10, it said, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashkin Shai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. The wiles, like his, let me get it right here. Cunning arts, deceit, craft, and trickery. All right. So we're protected by the Yahweh Bashkin Shai because we're seeking him. We're put on the whole armor. We're reading the Bible, right? Just having our faith, walking the straight gate, It says, put on the whole armor of the Yahweh Bashkin Shai, that he may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, right? The deceiver. right? It says, what is it? Yeah. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So it's a spiritual thing, right? That we wrestle against. So what is it? Second Thessalonians 2, the point I want is in 8, but 2 and 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except the coming Father will first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalts himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. It says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what was ordered that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. This M.O.T.B. It says M.O.T.B. For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it remains secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way. Right? The Most High allowed his devil to work in secrecy, right, to forward his agenda to get to this point, but now he's being fully exposed. Right? These Edomites, these devils, the so-called white men, all right, they're the wicked of the earth. And it goes all the way to the top, starting with these Amalekites, right? All the way to the top, going to these Rothschilds, the banking families. They're the one pushing the agendas and controlling the world. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, is what I'm doing right now. The prophet speaking the words, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's what Yahweh Shai's going to do when he pulls up and actually gets physical with the devil, right? Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. See, so this devil is coming in the power of Satan, right? So going back to how it says it's a spiritual thing that's happening, taking place. All right, but anyway, as you can see, Russia is on board with it.
Artificial intelligence, alongside digital platforms and autonomous systems, is reshaping the very nature of the economy, social relations, the social sphere, education, healthcare, logistics, industry, defense, and security. Indeed, every aspect of the country's life. Our sovereignty depends on our ability to keep pace with global changes, and in the near future, without any exaggeration, so does the very existence of the Russian state. It is essential to bear in mind that artificial intelligence technologies are developing rapidly. For instance, fundamental language models and neural networks with colossal computing power are becoming increasingly complex. Language models are used to create intelligent assistants known as artificial intelligence agents, AI agents. They no longer merely carry out specific commands and answer simple user questions, but operate autonomously, largely without human intervention, to solve tasks set by humans. Crucially, these AI agents are already reaching a new level of autonomy. They are learning to plan their actions and evaluate the results they obtain, and to interact with people and the real world. Last year, in a sense, a watershed moment occurred. The overwhelming majority of participants in an experiment mistook the machine's responses for a conversation with a real person, for a dialogue with a conversation partner. In other words, these AI agents demonstrated their ability to mimic human cognitive and even emotional behavior. According to forecasts, in the very near future, these agents will also be able to pass tests of physical capabilities. For example, it will be difficult to determine who is driving a car, a human or a neuropilot. Language models are a fundamental cross-cutting technology that forms the basis for the independent development of all sectors. And only by having our own models will we be able to move forward with confidence, guarantee security and defense capability, and, most importantly, remain at the forefront of scientific and engineering thought, especially as our country is one of the few states to possess unique expertise in this field. I therefore consider it essential to ensure the creation and subsequent development of domestic fundamental artificial intelligence models. They must be globally competitive whilst maintaining the highest possible level of sovereignty. This means that the entire cycle of their development and training must be carried out by Russian companies so that our engineers can control all the parameters of such complex systems. We need to harness the potential of our defense and security programs. The effectiveness of such an approach is demonstrated by the experience of leading nations in the field of artificial intelligence. We are familiar with this experience. We know how state-owned companies operate abroad, including defense ministries, how they function, and how they invest their resources in implementing relevant programs. Of course, to achieve the objectives set for defense ministries and special services, they invest money and draw on both state and private resources and generally achieve good results. I have instructed the government, in collaboration with regional leaders, to draw up a national plan for the implementation of artificial intelligence across the country, taking into account the specific needs of various sectors and federal subjects. By 2030, such technologies and the products based on them should be in use across all sectors, including manufacturing, logistics, energy, administration, and education. I know that the government and legislators are currently preparing the legal framework for the application of AI.
All right, so there you have it. By 2030, they talking about it now, right? But that's because they're being more exposed about it. This system has already been set up to lead us to this point, right? Most High just make it known, right? And we can measure the time diligently in itself, right? That the end has manifested itself. The more and more they talk about this last prophecy, basically, once the M.O.T.B comes, yeah, this real quick. Right. Once the M.O.T.B comes, the prophet's not going to take it. Right. So we're gonna have to be protected. And at that fund, that's really when the fund begins. We're gonna be tested a little bit, but the Most High is gonna be showing us miracles. Like we gonna know. Right. It's gonna say, then shall we know who are my children. All right, so we gonna know what's up during that time. But once it comes, we're not gonna take it. The Most High gonna start protecting us. The elder Pastor Hart says all the time that things gonna move quicker, because pretty much at that point we're just gonna be living life waiting on the destruction, which is a nuclear fire destruction and the deliverance of us, with the chairs and all of that. So this is the last thing. This system, they think it's a reset. It's really an end. Second Ezra 9:1. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and thou seest part of the signs past, which I told you before, then shalt thou understand that it was the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes upward of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things in the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest, right? Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonderful, even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and sounds. Right, so what we're seeing now is the end, right? I think about it, all hell is breaking news. We got this tracks from Iran going on, bombs dropping, collapse coming. It's looming, it's looming over us right now. Like even right now, evils are growing. People probably think themselves to be in good case, and really, we're on a ticking time bomb. These shortages and things that's about to hit, it's only a matter of time, right? But anyway, Lord willing, you edify from the lesson, shalom to your which consists of men, women, and children, shalom.